Hi, everybody. It's Craig from UR Comp. Thank you for joining us again today with our weekly call with Dr. David Shwartz. How are you, Dr. Dave?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, if anybody's tuned in before, you know that Dr. David Shwartz is the head of the Gaming Research Center at UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And Dr. Dave and I are doing a cruise July 30th, and we invite all of you to come join us. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to invite a lot of the cool UR Comp customers and people. We're doing some cool sessions on entrepreneurship, and Dr. Dave's going to give 3 talks on the history of casino entrepreneurs and kind of the lessons they learned, good and bad. One that probably learned some tough lessons were Bugsy Siegel, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. A lot of things he did you definitely don't want to do.
Yeah. So hopefully none of us entrepreneurs end up dead in our Malibu mansion or Palm Springs, right?
Yeah.
But cool. Well, thanks for joining us again, Dr. Dave. Since we talked last, there's been a couple new developments and exciting things in the casino industry. One that popped up today I noticed today was that Caesars signed another management deal with a tribal casino in Northern California. It'll be a Harrah's Northern California opening up. Now, it seems like that's becoming more and more common where these companies like Caesars will partner with the tribe where they don't actually own the casino. It's just a straight management deal. So what are some of the companies that are doing that, or what are a couple examples of types of management deals?
Well, pretty much all the major companies do that, probably except for Wynn and LVS. And that might not be through lack of trying. But, you've got Boyd has done this several times. Obviously, Harrah's, Caesars has done it. MGM for a while had a partnership with Foxwoods. I don't believe they do anymore. And a couple of the other, players have done this. So this is something that a lot of casino companies have done. For the tribes, the benefit is that they get to hire a company with a lot of experience to come in and set up and run their operation. So there's not as much of a learning curve as there would be if they were hiring the entire staff and, all the executives and everything just from scratch. For the casino, the advantage is they get to put their name or at least get some management experience in a new jurisdiction, which means they're going to be exposed to new players.
Got it. And, of course, they're probably generating a pretty significant chunk of revenue without having to do much in the way of upfront capital expenditure to build the properties.
Yeah, and I think for everybody, that's what it comes down to. The tribe gets to make some money from the casino without having to invest in the human capital, and the casino gets to make some money without having to invest in the capital expenditures and the startup costs.
Now, do most of these management contracts, are they just a percentage of revenue that the management company gets to keep and the rest goes to the tribe?
Yeah, they could be pegged to different things, but in the enabling legislation that formalized the way tribal gaming is run in the United States, there are limits to how much the compensation can be, but it's usually a percentage basis.
Got it. And it seems like you see some casinos where the management company may be more behind the scenes, like in the case of Stations Casino, working with Grayton in Northern California, which is a huge casino, but I think a lot of Grayton customers may not even know that it's Stations behind the scenes that are running a lot of the operations. And then on the other end of the spectrum is a Harrah's or Caesars, like we brought up, that a big part of their value, I assume, to the tribe is that their customers can tap into total rewards and they can go to Vegas and do everything and also leverage that Harrah's or Caesars brand. So why do you think some tribes would prefer one or the other?
Well, I think sometimes the tribes want to go into the business themselves and they don't want to have to pay an outside company in perpetuity. So their approach is, let's have this company come in, let's see them get it set up, let's learn what we need to learn, and then we can take it over ourselves. And a lot of times for the casino company, that's a perfectly acceptable process where they know that they've got a contract for 5 years, 6 years, They just want to fulfill the terms of the contract, and then whatever happens after that happens. Other times, the tribe maybe wants to bank on a name brand. And we saw this when tribal gaming first really started to catch fire in the 90s. We saw a lot of this, where just in Southern California, Caesar's Palace was going to have a Caesars branded tribal casino. For a while, Trump had the Spotlight 29, the Trump brand on that. So there's been a lot of kind of experimentation with this, and those contracts don't always get renewed.
That's really interesting. I had no idea that Trump was working with that Spotlight 29 down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it's because, and this is just me speculating, but I wonder if it's because a lot of these tribal casinos, so much of the revenue they drive is just purely based on geography, and they realize like we're not Spotlight 29 isn't getting many more people coming in the doors because of the Trump name, so why pay the branding?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and you have to look at where you are, who your competitors are, what their benefits are. And, for a lot of them, it might be the loyalty program does it. The player's card does it because that is a real incentive. A lot of gamblers want to make those big trips to other places. And if they can earn points at a tribal property, they would rather do that than just earn points they could redeem at that property. So I think it all depends on the geography and the customer base.
Yeah, that makes sense, because in a competitive local market like that, it's really the key is getting that person to drive an extra 10, 20, 45 minutes to that property, because I got to assume like 80% of a casino's revenue in those local markets are just based on which casino is closer. I'm going to go there.
Yeah, I think that's a big factor, and if it's I think stuff like customer service not being good has to rise to really high levels to overcome the geography. And I think basically it will just be location, who's the closest to you.
I think that way with grocery stores. Like there's a Tom Thumb, which is owned by Safeway. It's like right by my house. I go there 90% of the time. But once in a while my wife wants some like cheese or something. So then we go to Whole Foods. It's like, and Whole Foods has that brand, but so I'll drive further there. We'll spend a little more money, but other than that, it's pure geography. And I think the casino business is a lot like that in a lot of ways in the local market.
Absolutely, especially because the games are so similar. So if you want people to go past the other properties, you better have either really good customer service or something really exceptional, or give people a lot of cash back, or you've got to have some really out of the park dining or entertainment to give people a reason to come to your property and not someplace else.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a fun challenge. I love talking casino marketing with you, and I think this is some stuff that we'll probably touch on in our July 30th cruise, is like how businesses that may in some respects be looked at as commodity, how can they differentiate themselves to be able to charge a higher price, get customers to go further to get there, just add brand value. Speaking of brand value, another Caesars development is that they just signed a contract with a developer in Dubai. Like, what do you know about this deal?
This is really interesting. I know that MGM has had some similar deals in place for a while, and I'm not sure when they're actually going to open, but I know this kind of stuff has been under development for a while, both in the Middle East and also in Asia and China. I've heard about projects about this getting started. And basically the idea is it's not going to be any gaming. There's going to be no casino involved. So they don't get the gaming revenue, but they will be able to have a hospitality property. So just a hotel. The benefit of this is that you get your brand out there, and people in Dubai or Shanghai or wherever it is will get to say, all right, this is what Caesar's Palace means. So if they do get a chance to come to the United States and want to visit Las Vegas, Caesar's Palace is going to be right on the top of that list because they know what it is. The other reason why you want to do it, as for any transaction, it can make a lot of money.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see if they incorporate Total Rewards or M Life, where maybe room nights spent in Dubai and drinks purchased or food purchased will generate reward credits that can be used on your trip to Las Vegas. Or Maybe somebody wants to go from Dubai to Council Bluffs and go to the Harrah's out there.
Yeah, it is, and it just shows how globalized the whole business and the whole world is becoming. Where you've got the people who run a casino in Council Bluffs are also going to be running this really upscale hotel in Dubai, and you never would have seen that many years ago. But that is pretty much globalism, and that's where the gaming industry is today. You have to be very nimble and be able to do a lot of different things. And if you look at how the casinos are set up on the Strip, they make about a third of their money from gambling. So it's not like they're going from the old loss leader model of everything feeds people in the casino, and they'd be totally, just they'd have no idea what to do without a casino. I think now they're so used to running the hotel as a profit center in and of itself, it makes a lot of sense for them.
And they've done, and on top of that, it's a testament to the brand that they've done such a good job preserving and building value in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Caesar's Palace, and they've done. I've never seen the actual numbers, but they tell me there's a lot of research saying this is the most recognizable brand in the world, or certainly one of them. So you got to think they've really protected the brand a lot. Another interesting thing that I didn't see reported as much is this is not the first time there has been a Caesar's name on a non-gaming hospitality project. For a long time in the 70s and 80s, Caesar's had these honeymoon resorts in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So they were doing that. They also had bought some land in Florida that they were going to develop, but that never happened. But they had the Poconos resorts for a long time. So this is not the company's first time doing this, though to be fair, that was back in the Caesars World days. So this was long before Caesars Entertainment.
That's really interesting. And what about internationally? What is Caesars' footprint, including gaming properties? Because didn't Caesars World at least have something in South Africa, maybe London?
They did, but a lot of these, and they did have things in South Africa, and I think they had something in South America, but a lot of those, I know Harrah's had something in Australia. A lot of those, they didn't keep that affiliation. And probably one of the things that Caesars has not been able to do is expand into the international market the way that Wynn and LVS and MGM have. So I think that's why this is something they want to start doing through the hospitality, not necessarily through the gaming side.
Interesting. Well, I can't wait to see how this all plays out. I didn't remember seeing in the article, maybe do we know when that Dubai property is supposed to open up?
Don't know. And I know the MGM one was announced a while back, and I don't think it's open yet. So who knows when that would open?
Well, what's interesting is that when I think of Caesar's brand, I mean, the image of those buildings in Las Vegas is just so iconic. I mean, and I have to picture the Dubai property looking like that, with the white, with the Roman style columns, and just that style architecture. MGM, in my mind, is a little more nebulous, or like their properties on the Strip.
Yeah,
they're all so different, and I don't have such a stark image of like MGM Grand. Anyway, so I guess my point is, do you have any idea like kind of what the style is of those two properties? Is Caesar's going to have kind of that true to Roman style architecture, or what's MGM going to look like?
It's hard, it's really hard to say, just because you don't know. MGM is definitely developing their look. If you look at their properties in Macau, they have a certain look. Definitely the one in National Harbor at DC is very modern looking, very striking that way. So I think they've adopted that for their look, and we'll see if Caesars adopts their own signature style in different markets.
Very cool. Well, it's going to be fun to see what plays out. And then I guess last question, since we're on the topic of Caesars, what is the latest that you've heard with the Windsor property? Is there still a strike going on? Or
I believe there is. The latest I've heard is that there is. So who can tell? Who can tell? I'm pretty sure there is.
Eesh. Gosh, it's crazy the kind of revenue that is being lost with a strike, but
no.
Yeah, is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dr. Dave, thank you as always. I'm looking forward to our talk again next Monday, and
likewise,
and of course our July 30th cruise.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. Well, you have a great week, sir. I will talk to you soon.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Bye, Dave.
Bye.